Hey, I'm Dustin.
And I'm Steve. Welcome back, listeners, to the finest phototainment in the world. That's right, you're listening to another episode of the Wedding Photo Hangover podcast, an irreverent look at wedding photography. This podcast, like aspirin, will help you recover from your wedding hangover.
Steven.
Dustin, what's up?
I feel like we just talked, man. I feel like we just released an episode, but in typical wedding photo hangover podcast fashion, just want to keep giving.
It is that time of year where we like to give. And specifically, I think today we celebrate the American holiday, Thanksgiving. For our listeners in Canada, you can skip this episode. It is going to be terrible for Canadian listeners. We're going to say a lot of terrible things about Canadians. Dustin, give me the 5 most terrible things you can think to say about Canadians who have their Thanksgiving in October.
Well, first, Steve, can we just explain to those listeners out there who might not be from this great US of A, what, Thanksgiving is to us Americans? I believe, from what I understand from my childhood education, that Thanksgiving is the first breaking of bread between Americans and undocumented immigrants from Europe.
Yeah, that actually nails it. That nails it right on the head. The only key part you are forgetting is that the good Lord Jesus did come down on that very first Thanksgiving, and he did bring with him a pigskin, and he did give it unto the pilgrims, and he did say, "You will use this to play a new game called football." And then he said, "Ooh, shoot," on his way back up to heaven. Football is the name of a game already played throughout the rest of the world. Well, never mind.
Whoops.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'll still let you kick it a couple of times.
A couple times a game, you get to kick that ball.
Now I kind of want to dig into the history of football.
It was brought to us by Jesus. That's why it's America's sport, because America is Jesus' country. We all know that. This country was blessed by God.
That is right. Oh, Steven, it's a week of thankfulness, hopefully a year of thankfulness, Steven, because it has been what a ride.
Mm-hmm.
We have another year in the books for the Wedding Photo Hangover podcast. And I've just been so blessed to have you by my side on this ride.
Oh, wait. Is that your first thing you're thankful for? We're doing 3 things.
Steven, you are always the first thing in my life that I'm thankful for.
That makes me very happy, buddy. Can I ask you a question, though?
Let me think about it.
I thought you were going to name 5 things that were terrible about Canada.
Steve, there's nothing terrible about Canada.
Yeah, there's socialism. There's free health care. What the hell, dude? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing terrible about Canada.
So says you. It's cold there.
Cold there.
And
wearing my Canada underwear right now.
They play hockey.
Okay, that's one terrible thing about
that was actually
Canada.
a thing in the plus side for me, hockey.
What are you drinking in that beautiful glass of yours?
Tonight, Dustin, I am drinking an Elijah Craig Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Yeah. Bourbon is the drink of the holidays. If you're hanging out with Steve Van Elk.
I thought it was eggnog.
No, it's not. Eggnog is a disgusting abomination that should be thrown in the garbage right next to your DVD copy of A Christmas Story.
Bringing it back. I was saddened to be reminded by Phantom producer Louis Novak that I recently traveled to the great state of Ohio, and I failed to pick myself up another 6-pack of Great Lakes Christmas Ale, Stephen. One of your favorite beers, one of my favorite beers.
Oh, yeah, no, that is a good beer. I thought you were going to say like Ale 8 or one of those sodas. It's prepared for horribleness.
Oh, Steve. Even now, it's one of my favorite holiday beers that you can only get, oddly enough, a month before Christmas, even though it is called Christmas Ale. But yeah, Louis was kind enough to remind me of my ignorance and disappointed me all day long.
Disappointed you?
Yeah, because you can only buy it in Ohio.
I did not realize that. I've seen Great Lakes Christmas Ale down here in Indy, I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, that's because Indy's kind of like this, weird city that kind of like steals stuff from other cities.
Fort Wayne doesn't do that.
No, Fort Wayne's, a pure state.
All their strippers are local grown.
No, we bring those from Indy.
And the glitter dust with it.
That's right.
Oh, it doesn't. We're getting way, way, way off into a dark, dark hole that is called Fort Wayne.
Stephen, what might you be thankful for on this fine holiday week?
Doesn't the number one thing I'm thankful for is all of our listeners who are still listening 6 minutes into this podcast when we've said basically nothing so far, and also all of our listeners who've been here for the past year and a quarter. We make the show for you guys, and we've been so incredibly blessed by all the listeners out there who have joined the Facebook group, who've tweeted at us, who've Instagram storied us or messaged us or Facebook messaged us. It really warms our hearts, and that is the reason why we keep doing this every single week.
'Tis the reason for the season, Stephen.
Yeah, our listeners are responsible for Christmas.
I mean, in a way, all the ones who donate to us on Anchor and keep this podcast running, thus helping me buy my family Christmas presents this year and Thanksgiving dinner. If it wasn't for you guys, there would be no holiday here at the McKibben household. So, God bless you.
Great, Dustin. Great. It's good to know that our listeners are keeping Dustin in gifts for his kids.
Yeah. Granted, the gifts that my kids will be receiving this year are, and I'm not even sure I'm allowed to say this, but Steven has come up with some pretty sweet wedding photo hangover swag.
Oh, no, we're not saying that yet. No, save that.
Okay. Because that's all my kids are getting for Christmas this year.
Just bottle openers.
Just bottle openers and koozies, baby.
Dustin, what else are you thankful for?
Oh, Stephen, I'm always thankful for my family. I'm thankful for the glorious wife who puts up with me, tolerates me, works a full-time job as a doctor, and then helps, I shouldn't say helps, she raises 2 children, and on top of all of that, shoots 40 weddings a year with me. That, Stephen, just below you is what I'm thankful for this year.
Yeah, no, that one should definitely be above me, and that one should definitely not have to shoot 40 weddings with you anymore. You can hire second shooters.
Stephen, then I wouldn't get to see my wife at all.
Good point. But, then she might get to take a break and enjoy her life a little more. Just throwing that out there.
Keep throwing it. Keep throwing it till Jesus picks it up and takes it back up to heaven.
Touchdown, Jesus.
Touchdown. God's country, Notre Dame.
Yeah. Dustin, that's a great one. I'm very glad you're thankful for that.
What do you got,
number 2 on my list is also my amazing wife, who has come on this podcast. What is it? 3 times? 2 times?
Yeah, two or three.
2 times to save one of our butts when we couldn't be there for the week. It's always nice to know that you have a sub who can come in and hit a home run every single time. I'm sorry, we're doing football metaphors. It's always nice to know you have a sub who can come in and just catch those big football passes and make those big football runs and get those big touch scores.
Now, Stephen, see, if we're going to keep with the football metaphor in true American Thanksgiving fashion, I really think the terminology you were looking for is a real pinch hitter. Wait, shit, no, that's baseball. Damn it.
Yeah, no, you don't get any score downs in baseball.
Score downs. All right, so now that we're all mushied with our families, Stephen, I would say the third thing I am thankful for is probably the plethora of carb-free foods I've been able to discover this year.
Plethora. Yeah, pleather is fake leather. Plethora. There's an A at the end.
It sounds like a dirty word, though.
You could, it's Thanksgiving. You could say cornucopia instead.
The cornucopia. All right, I like that. I'm thankful for the cornucopia of healthy food choices out there that has allowed me to shed an enormous amount of weight, and also that the listeners have put up with me not partaking in Steven's drinking on this podcast as much as I would like to and as much as I want to, as he takes a sip off his mason jar there.
Oh, yeah, now I've switched over to hard lemonade, getting in that holiday spirit.
I don't believe hard lemonade is a holiday spirit, Steven.
Alcohol is a spirit. All alcohol is a spirit. And if you're close to the holidays, it's a holiday spirit. Trust me, Dustin.
Oh, Steven, you are a man of mystery. Lay on your third and final thankfulness giving.
I don't think I'm thankful for anything else, Dustin. I think I'm tapped out. Listeners,
Perfect.
wife, and kids, wife and kids. I think I forgot to mention my kids in the last one. Yeah.
Maybe your drone? Are you thankful for your drone? You got to fly it this year.
Yeah.
That's kind of a big deal.
I also wrecked it.
Thankful for the opportunity to travel to the Dominican. That was kind of a big deal.
That was a lot of money. That's not something.
Thankful for your health. Thankful that you've been so healthy this year.
You say because
And
I
you
was been
haven't-
sick like
you
the last
haven't
2
gotten
days.
sick much at all.
No, you know me. I'm sick all the time because I'm always up until like 3 a.m. working on these edits.
Let's see, what else could there be? Thankful for your eyesight. Thankful for your God-given eyes to see the creative art that you create.
I'm thankful that I have a friend like you in my life, Dustin, who is willing to hire me to shoot with him, even though I don't own any Sony cameras, and who never brings up anything about the fact that I don't own any Sony cameras, and never chastises me for not flying my drone or anything like that. Just somebody who's super supportive, always, getting my back, always there for me. And, when it is cold at night and I am at your house and I need a back rub, somebody's, getting my back. You know what I'm talking about?
Or offers you a smoothie and a comfy couch, one or the other.
Yeah, no, all good stuff.
So, when will I meet this guy? Because he sounds fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dustin, you're that guy.
Oh, Steve.
Oh, Dustin, go to a mirror right now.
I feel like I'm looking at a mirror. Maybe I just need to put a baseball cap on.
Dustin, are you looking at a mirror?
Always.
Okay, now hold your hand out and shake and shake your hand.
Oh, shit. That wasn't my hand.
Oh, no. Oh, no, Dustin. I forgot to tell you this. Mirrors are actually portals to another world. If you don't have the lights on when you walk in, you can be transported to a demon world. Sometimes Bloody Mary actually reaches through the mirror and grabs your hand and pulls you into the hellscape. So be careful. It's a crazy world out there, buddy.
I will say, thanks to you, on my vacation this weekend, I started watching Sabrina. And now I can't look at goats in quite the same way ever again.
You can't look at goats? I'm sorry, buddy. I should have warned you about Bahamas.
Especially black ones. Yeah.
Dustin, you wanted to talk about some deals.
Yeah. So in true thankfulness giving week fashion here in America, a lot of the retailers take advantage of your thankfulness and want to take your money.
Now, Thanksgiving is something that is just in America, and it's just an American holiday for true Americans, red, white, and blue all the way. Uncle Sam, tanks, flags,
capitalism,
fireworks,
yeah,
all that stuff. And
credit card debt.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. Greed is good. That's all American priorities. But Black Friday is actually a thing where everybody now throughout the entire world gets down on Black Friday for all them deals.
All them deals. And what's crazy is every year it gets a little bit lengthier.
Dealier.
The time in which you can take advantage of these dealios, which is great for people who, perhaps work the weekends like us. So I just wanted to give you a couple quick rundowns. Steven's favorite shoe brand, Cole Haan, that makes the sweet, sweet moon shoes that he loves so much, are running all of their shoes 50% off this week.
Now, these shoes will help you to moonwalk just like Michael Jackson. So you're going to want to get down on this because most of you, if you're like me, probably can't dance very well. And this is going to save you.
Yeah. So that is where I would start first, is get yourself good pair of Cole Haans, and then you get those for sort of your mid to low end weddings where you want to look better than everyone else because you feel like you're wearing a pair of shoes that is more expensive than everybody else. But then, my friends, when you really want that pair of shoes for those high end weddings where you feel like, man, I could run a marathon in these and still look like $1 million.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say probably not look like $1 million. Maybe look like you wish you had $1 million. Like you're trying to fake your way into having $1 million.
No. What I'm referring to, Steven, is that shoe brand Wolf and Shepherd.
Oh, you got some new stuff for me. You're not talking about Cole Haans anymore.
Nope, not talking about Cole Haans anymore. That was my tee up, and now this is where I throw it in your face. Wolf and Shepherd is a new up-and-coming shoe brand for active professionals, which I think is perfect for wedding photography. And Wolf and Shepherd is essentially producing a shoe that you could literally run a marathon in.
That's what Cole Haan's already done. People have literally ran marathons in them.
But these don't look like gym shoes. These are Stephen Van
Oh,
Oak
I'm sorry.
approved.
What was that? How did you describe Cole Haan's just now?
These don't look like moon shoes?
No, you said
Is that
gym
better?
shoes.
Gym shoes, moon shoes.
The important
each
thing is
their
they're
own.
ugly, and now you finally admitted to it. I'm so glad.
Anyways, so Wolf and Shepherd is running $100 off for Black Friday, Thanksgiving week, Cyber Monday, what have you. So I thought that was a pretty incredible deal. You just have to use the promo code HUNDO and score that deal. That is a Wedding Photo Hangover podcast only promo code.
That's a lie.
That Steve and I
Nope.
were able to score you.
Nope.
So use that, get that $100 off, and you can thank us later when your footsies are feeling good.
Oh man. Oh no, I'm looking at these shoes. These are good. These are good shoes. Yeah, I went ahead and went to wolfandshepherd.com. I mean, if I were you, I'd go with the Striker Chukkas. But that's just me.
Striker
Yeah, they're
Chukkas.
boots. They're not shoes.
Which color though? Which I keep going
The
back
Spanish
and forth
red
between the
Italian
brown
suede.
ones and the black ones.
Yeah, like I said, Spanish red Italian suede. The Striker Chukkas. Those are nice. Those are very, very nice.
Well, I got to pull them back up. Oh, no, I want these for weddings though.
These aren't working man's boots. These would be. You could wear these at a
I'm
wedding.
looking at the loafers.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, snap, Dustin. Why didn't you tell me they had driving shoes?
That's the whole reason.
man.
When I saw the driver shoes, I was like, "Oh, Steven, there goes your holiday bonus from the podcast
yeah,
right there."
Yeah, just going straight to those Gunner Drivers Navy Italian suede shoes, man. Woo, those are nice. Those are very, very nice. I like those a lot.
With the orange interiors.
Yeah, I want to get down on those.
So for $100 off, though, man, that's only $95.
All right, we've wasted a lot of time on this. Dustin, what else you got for me? Because I told you we're only going for 30 minutes
Well,
tonight.
these are really the only two important things. But I'll give you the quick rundown. The Sony stuff is crazy discounted this week. You got the A7R III, $400 off. The A9, $1,000 off. Obviously, the A9 is going to be knocked off, which is why it's so discounted. But the really good deals, always on Black Friday, are the Canon Mark IV, Mark III, the D750, D75,000.
Which one are you getting
those
from Canon? Which Canon?
I'm getting neither because obviously both these camera manufacturers are discounting these camera lines so heavily for Black Friday by offering free battery grips because they know that mirrorless is the future, and so they're going to be moving in that direction. So Canon is actually really discounting their lenses. So if you are a Canon shooter and you have no interest in moving to their new mirrorless system, it's a good time to scoop up a 70 to 200 or 24 to 70 and get a pretty good deal on that.
So without further ado, let's cross over into the drone zone.
DJI, who Steven and I both use for our drones, they're offering about $100 to $150 off most of their older models. So if you're thinking about dipping the toe into drone world, this is a good opportunity to scoop
older models so
something up.
the listeners could get like the drone I have then.
Yeah, exactly. They could get what you bought this time last year
Yeah,
for less than what you paid.
nice. They could probably fly it more too.
Absolutely. They could probably buy it and rent it out to other people and make their money back.
If anybody wants to rent my DJI Mavic Pro, it is available for rent. 100%, no worries. Hit
I
me up.
also I have another exclusive Wedding Photo Hangover podcast promo code to
Oh
throw at
gosh,
you guys.
no, it's not.
If
Don't lie.
anyone
Don't lie
is
to our listeners.
interested in some video equipment, our good pals over at Rhino Sliders that make really incredible sliders are offering up 20% off using the code BF16. So check those out if you're interested in automated or non-automated sliders for your video production stuff. And then if you haven't, for whatever crazy reason, checked out Adobe Creative Cloud, which I'd hope that everyone who listens to this podcast hopefully has. And if you don't, you're editing in something else, please let me know, because I would like to know what else there is out there.
Carl Osmond would tell you Capture One. You got to get down on that. Capture One, Capture One, Capture One, Capture One.
Capture One is not running any kind of a Black Friday deal. Nor is Phase 10.
We'll hit up Carl and see if he can change that.
Yeah, Carl, you want to hook us up with some of those sweet sponsorship promo codes. But Adobe Creative Cloud, for our listeners, is going to be offering a 12-month subscription for only $150, which is a pretty remarkable deal. It's I think half off.
Nice.
Or close to it. So that was kind of my rundown on some of the sweet deals I saw that were worthwhile. Yeah, I mean, you and Jen picked up a camera last year during Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
You guys scooping anything up this year?
Nope.
No. Why do you say it like that? You said no last year, and then I believe the next day after we recorded, you texted me and said, "Oh, by the way, Jen bought a 5D Mark IV or Mark III or whatever."
Oh, by the way, about a month ago, Jen bought another 5D Mark IV and a Sigma 50mm f1.4.
She likes waiting for those deals.
The deal at the time was good enough that we didn't want to pass it up. We didn't want to wait, and we didn't buy it specifically for the deal. We bought it because we had some weddings going on where I was going to be shooting, Jen was going to be shooting in 2 different locations, and we just wanted another camera for that. We have a 7D, a 5D Mark II, 2 5D Mark IIIs, and we had 1 5D Mark IV. Now we have 2 5D Mark IVs, Dustin. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
And we wanted to try the Sigma 50mm f1.4, and we were doing some comparisons with it to our 50mm f1.2 from Canon, and we actually kind of like the bokeh and stuff better in the Sigma. So
interesting. That's good to know.
Yeah. The Canon bokeh just looked a little too crisp and not blurry enough. I don't know if I'm describing it well, but it looked
not buttery enough.
Yeah. So, and you know me, I'm all about shooting wide open, getting that butter. Number 1 gaper boy.
Getting that butter. Stephen Van Elk, butter boy.
So we're not looking to buy anything because we already bought stuff.
Yeah, see, we're on the other side of things where we're building a house, so it's we're looking at appliances and furniture and all of that stuff. So
yeah,
no money left over for gear.
Oh, sad day, Dustin. Dustin, do you want to do some questions?
I'm thankful for questions and answers.
Hey guys, Steve here. Just wanted to pop into the podcast real quick. It's conference season. You're going to a bunch of different conferences, a bunch of workshops. People at these conferences and workshops, they need to know that you're cooler than them. And just going into one of those conferences or workshops, they're not necessarily going to look at you and know that. But if you get a wedding photo hangover t-shirt, now they'll look at you and immediately know that you're cooler than them. Or at least that's what I tell myself. When I put my wedding photo hangover t-shirt on and look in the mirror, it's a depressing tale of my life. But you're going to want to pop over there, Zazzle.com/wedding hangover. There's not just t-shirts. We also got beer koozies. We got beer bottle openers. We got wine stoppers. If you look at the t-shirts, you don't just have to buy it in the colors that I picked out when I created everything. You can also shop around, and for just a small uptick in the price, you can buy shirts in different colors. You can even buy different styles of shirts if you want, with the wedding photo hangover print on them. So it's really cool, and we hope that you guys love it. And, if you don't, just send those DMs straight to Dustin. You know what I'm saying? You're going to want to pop over there at Zazzle.com/wedding hangover. And there will be links down in the show notes if you guys want to check down there. Thanks so much, guys. Back to the show.
Let's do some Q&A.
But Steve.
All right. From our very own Facebook group, Mark Quinn asked this question, Dustin. Hey, folks. quick question for you. How much do you take for a deposit for a wedding booking?
Yeah, great question. I believe I answered this question to Mark directly in the Facebook groups.
You did?
So if the listeners would like to see that
No,
answer, they have to just simply join the super secret, really impossible to
you
find,
can't say
nearly impossible to get into.
I gotta nip this in the bud
Facebook
once and for all.
group.
You cannot call it a secret Facebook group. It's a closed Facebook group, so it's private. If it were a secret Facebook group, then people can't actually search for it online. So every time you say secret Facebook group, there's a big group of people out there who listen to our podcast who are just like, oh, I gotta get an invite from Dustin or Steve. I can't just do a search for it and then ask to join.
If you would like an invite to our super secret Facebook group, all you have to do is shoot Steven and I a message on Facebook through our closed secret Facebook group, and we'll hook you up. Steven's just shooting me dagger eyes right now.
Oh gosh, yeah, I want to kill you. Shoot, dude, I'm having trouble finding the question from Mark Quinn, and your good answer. So, Dustin, do you want to double down on what you said? Dustin, Mark Quinn wants to know, how much do you take as a deposit?
So Mark wanted to know how I run my deposit system, or rather, I felt obligated to inform him of what I do. And I'm not saying that what I do is right, Stephen. I want to come right out and I want to just jump right in front of what I call the Stephen Van Elk Railroad Express before it runs me over.
Yeah, because not only did you answer, but then I responded to how you answered.
Yeah, because you're just that great of my friend.
I'm looking out for you.
Yep. So what I told Mark I do, and again, I'm not saying what I do is right. It's just one person doing one thing that happens to work for me. And that is I take a larger deposit when the wedding is further out. So say a wedding books a year out, I charge $1,000 deposit. Now, if a wedding books 2 years out, I take a $1,500 deposit. So essentially it's $500 out for each year out the wedding is. So now if the wedding's the same calendar year in which we are in, so if we're in 2018 and the wedding's happening in 2018, I'm going to take a $500 deposit. Now you might say, why not just take $1,000? Now I could probably do that, but I'm basing this on the psychology of the bride and her purse or her pocketbook, depending on what part of the country you're in.
Oh, did you do a lot of research into this?
No. Steven,
okay, so don't say you're basing it on any sort of psychology. If you didn't, there's no science behind this. You didn't do any research. You didn't have a thesis. You didn't test your thesis.
I have a minor in psychology.
No, you don't.
From university.
From university? Yes, the famous university.
Rochester Institute of Technology, Steven. I can ask my wife. But anyways,
I want to see a copy of your diploma.
Sure. It's on top of my bookshelf in my living room. But anyways, Steven, so the psychology behind it is that typically if a bride is planning a wedding and she's booking vendors not as far out as another, she's going to start to get overloaded with the amount of deposits she's being asked for. And that's not to say that would happen to someone planning a year and a half out, but at least then...
So you admit your logic is faulty. Great. Good.
She can space her bookings out. So she can book a photographer, wait a couple weeks,
they're not going to space their
DJ.
Bookings out. Oh my gosh. That's how you don't book the people that you want to book, Dustin. This is the most terrible advice you've ever given on this podcast. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Dustin's with the terrible advice. We're all thankful for Dustin's bad advice. Thank you so much. Thanks, Dustin. Can I see your diploma now? Can you go get your diploma? Look, I'm just saying, if
Mark,
I don't see your birth certificate, I don't know that you're an American citizen. That's all.
Sometimes, Mark, I will use this as sort of a negotiating tactic where I'll say, well, typically we do $1,000 deposit, but if you guys go ahead and book this week, we'll knock that down to $500. Something where it feels like they're getting a deal or a bargain, but really in reality they're not. They're still paying the full price at the end of the day. I'm just taking a little bit more risk on, but that's something I'm comfortable doing because I find that the weddings that tend to cancel on me are the weddings that book the furthest out, because they book a year and a half out and then they either change dates or something happens. And I don't know why that is, but it's just, for me personally, Stephen, that's just what we found is the weddings that book a year and a half out are always the ones that come falling apart on us.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them, but the ones that do cancel are the ones that booked us the furthest out.
So in response to your bad advice that you gave to Mark, I wrote to Mark when he said that what Dustin said makes sense, because it clearly doesn't, that Mark,
well, to Mark it made sense
shouldn't
because
encourage.
Mark, like me, is logical.
Mark shouldn't encourage Dustin. It's very bad advice. And the reason is, if a couple booked with you, Dustin, 6 to 9 months out and then splits, you're only coming home with $500 of that retainer. And now you have even less time to try to get that date booked still, because they booked you 6 to 9 months out. If anything, the retainer closer to the wedding should be more, because there's less time. You could possibly still book another wedding, but once you book with them, if they then split, then you don't book another wedding on that day. So you're actually coming away from this with less money. So maybe what you said makes logical sense to you, but it doesn't make logical sense to your pocketbook or to your chief financial officer at Big Burrito Creative.
See, but Steven, I don't know. Like if they're booking 6 months out, okay, let's role play this. They're booking 6 months out. So let's say it's January, the wedding's in June. They're booking, 6 months out. You still have that date open for whatever reason. You're like, awesome. I'd love to take this money. I'm more than willing to take, a little bit less up front, get that date booked. Knowing, I don't know how you operate, but we charge the full remaining balance 60 days before. So I'm getting the rest of that money in just a few months anyways.
Not if they split, Dustin. Not if they split, then you're out that money.
That's when you just need to befriend them, Steven. You need to keep that relationship nourished. You need to keep them going. Send them little gifts to each of them from the other.
Now you're out even more money when they're split, because you've wasted all this money on gifts. And they're like, what the hell? Who's giving you all these gifts? It didn't come from me, your fiance. Who is sending you these gifts? Now you've created a situation where there is an anonymous third person who's getting in between the two of them.
Steve, you also have to remember, I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's a good city where people don't split up. All of the weddings I have that have broken up before I've shot them have been outside of Fort Wayne.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we live in a place free of sin. It's a place full of monogamy. So we believe in one love and one love forever.
Mm-hmm.
No one gets divorced here.
So some of our listeners had separate advice to give to Mark. Different advice, I would say better advice. A lot of people were saying they take 35% to 30%. A lot of people are saying what? Yes, I would say they gave better advice. Sorry, Dustin. Flat rates of, somewhere between 30%, 35%. Some people said a third of the retainer fee. So that's 33%. A lot of people said they take $1,000 no matter what. That's a camp that Jen is also in. But I feel like I just got to lay it on you, Mark. You need some good advice. And, some of these people have given you good advice and some people are Dustin. But now I want to give you the best advice, Mark. When it comes to a retainer or a deposit that your bride may or may not be giving you, it's not about how much you take for the deposit or the retainer. It's about how much they give. You feel me, Dustin? You feel me on this?
Nope.
So here's the thing. You got to stop taking money from your clients. And you got to start taking things that are more precious to them. There are so many other things in this world that are so much more valuable to your clients than their money.
Their soul?
Yeah. So, Dustin, what I'm going to say is this. You go in, you're booking your client. They say, we want to book with you. Where is the contract? How do we get you that deposit? You say, great. And you pull out, 2 syringes and a pair of scissors. And you say, I'm just going to need 2 locks of hair from each one of you. And I'm going to need a vial of blood from each one of you as well. While they're busy drawing that blood and cutting the hair, you're going to place 2 small dowels onto the table made up to look like each one of them. And then next to those 2 small towels, you're going to place a large bone needle, a butane torch, and a white feather. And the feather is, of course, there to demonstrate the powers at work. So, after you get back the locks of hair and the blood and you mutter your incantations over the dowels, then, they are obviously sitting there like, no, this is not a real thing. this voodoo doesn't work, then you just tickle the foot of the doll with the feather. All of a sudden, they're laughing their butts off. Now they know your power. Real ultimate power.
Even this kind of goes into what we talked about last week when we talked about what to do when somebody wants to sign the contract at the meeting and you don't want them to.
I don't know what you're talking about, Dustin. This is a surefire way.
Blood oath.
Yeah. You got to get their contract on the paper first, then you get the hair and the blood after you got the contract signed.
So I think what I would do, honestly, if I could kind of reshift my answer to Mark.
You're going to double down on the voodoo dolls?
Now, Stephen, I think I want to take a different approach. You've kind of inspired me here. You've kind of given me some insight into the business mind of a really talented entrepreneur, and I want to kind of expand upon that if I can. And that is, I would ask my clients for double their wedding package. So let's say their wedding package is $3,000. I would make my deposits $6,000. And that way, at the end of their wedding, they're actually getting money back, Stephen. So it's kind of like a gift. They're actually getting the gift of their own money back.
This is just like paying your taxes.
Exactly. It's kind of like a security deposit. Mm-hmm. They're renting you as a photographer. If they treat you well, they get their security deposit back.
Yeah, and if they don't treat you well, then you don't give them the full security deposit back.
Right. If you feel, battered, beaten, a little abused, you say, "Sorry, I kept the full wedding balance."
You know what? This is great too, because then if their gusts damage any of your equipment, now you have money to pay for it already. Now you're not saying, I got to go talk to my insurance company, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I want to start treating wedding photography contracts like rental leases, like a landlord, like what Daddy Trump would do.
He'd ask for that birth certificate. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wedding Photo Hangover podcast with Dustin and Steve. If you want to help us out, jump on iTunes or Stitcher and leave us a 5-star review. If you want to connect, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Wedding Photo Hangover or on Twitter at WedPic Hangover. Dustin is on Instagram at Dustin_McKibben and Steven is at Steven Van Elk. If you want to get involved with the awesome community of listeners, join the Wedding Hangover Facebook group. If you really want to warm our hearts,
secret Facebook group?
Head on over to anchor.fm/wedding photo hangover and you can sign up to support us for as little as 99 cents a month. Now, you might not think 99 cents a month is a big deal, but when we get a lot of listeners doing it, it really adds up. And then it allows us to do things like buy new microphones that are better than our current microphones so we sound better. So when you give us 99 cents, you're actually investing in the lifelong good sounds for your ear fund. Can we call it that?
Or Christmas presents for our children.
Lifelong good sounds for your ear funds.
Or Christmas presents for our children and turkey for our tables so that we can be happy, therefore making you happy, guys.
Don't listen to Dustin. He's got bad ideas.
Or paying stand-ins to go to Thanksgiving so that we can record more episodes for
like
you
we're
guys.
Doing right now. Thanks for listening, exactly. And we'll see you next time.
I'll be right there, hon. Cut the turkey for me. We'll see you next time your head is pounding, your limbs feel like dead weight, and your entire being aches for the sweet embrace of death. That's right. Next Sunday, after you shoot another wedding, or after you spend all of your money on Christmas gifts and other things you bought on Black Friday because they were on sale, and why not? That credit card spends. Cyber Monday. Prime Day.
So when you mentioned stand-ins at the turkey dinner, all I could think about was the episode of Arrested Development where the dad who's on house arrest hires a guy to go to family functions and wear a camera on his head and stream it back to him in prison so he can see what's going on and feel like he's taking part in... I guess he's not in prison, he's in house arrest, but he streams it back to him so he can take part in the family things since he can't leave the house. That's all I can think about.
My.
Yeah.
Never seen that show.
Oh, Dustin, you're missing out. You are missing out. You know what? This was not a sponsored episode, but I do feel like it would be remiss of us not to mention how thankful we are, not only for the people who have sponsored us, because they're taking a chance on a very small podcast like ours. And
by small, you mean large.
they're taking a chance on a small podcast like ours. So a big thanks to Greetable and Taylor Brands, who both have sponsored us. And while they're not sponsoring this episode, big thanks to everybody who's used one of the codes that they have for us. If you want to get 20% off your first order at greetable.com, use code HANGOVER20. And if you want to get 30% off any package at taylorbrands.com, use code GETYOURLOGO. Guys,
And if you want $100 off a pair of shoes from Wolf
that is not a
Shepherd,
sponsor of the
use
podcast. We're not thankful for them. No.
HUNDO, Hundo.
I hate
And
you
then
so
if you could
much.
jump on their Facebook or their Instagram and let them know where you found us, or them, found them on the Wedding Photo Hangover podcast. We'd love them to be a sponsor.
Dustin, we got to wrap this up because I said I wanted to keep it to 30 minutes and we're already at 45 minutes. So thank you, everybody, for joining us for our second annual Thanksgiving podcast.
Yep, babe, I'm coming. Just go. No, really. Get the cranberry sauce. Cut the turkey. It's okay. I'm coming. Sorry, Steve. Gotta go celebrate Thanksgiving.
Oh, my lookalike looks exactly like me. He's in there right now eating everything.
Damn.
Yeah.
Man,
I'm trying to
so
lose
much
some
easier
weight,
to find
so
lookalikes in Indy.
yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Jen doesn't
I've
even know
lost
I'm
weight.
not in
I
there.
gotta fire my lookalike. I can't find a skinny version of me. Everyone around here is fat.
Oh, snap. And you said I said terrible things about Fort Wayne. Wow.
I mean, the people who look like me
Yeah.
are fat.
Uh-huh. All right.
Yeah.
Have a great night, Dustin.
Bye,
Bye.
Steve.
Wedding Photo Hangover was edited this week by Steve Van Elk of Bespoke Tone. Go to Bespoke Tone for all of your photo, video, and audio editing needs. Woo-wee!